a richer and much more prosperous country.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Your government is empowering you through education, training, and development. That is why we have removed all fees for every Jamaican accessing training through the Heart NSTA Trust. So, whatever you desire training in, food and hospitality, beauty and cosmetology, housekeeping and hotel management, welding, carpentry, masonry, or any of the dozens of programs Heart offers, you can enroll completely free and change your life. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running, are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block, step out now me block, cyber take a boy your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. Sin you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. They say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
Each year, the Jamaican Parliament approves billions in tax dollars to buy goods and services for Jamaicans. Awarding contracts to private companies to provide public goods and services is called public procurement, and it is a major hotspot for corruption. Can citizens spot the red flags in public procurement and help the government protect our taxes? Yes, they can. And here are 6 to watch for. Direct contracting. When contracts are frequently awarded to one supplier without other companies competing to offer a better price and quality, we usually end up paying more and getting less. Contract splintering. Big projects need big money and higher level approvals. But if the contract is cut up into smaller ones, it won't need external approval from offices like the Public Procurement Commission or Cabinet. This makes it easier for contracts to avoid additional scrutiny. Timing of advertisements. Contracts advertised during distracting periods like the holidays can result in less competition and a really strong advantage for the favored company. Like Christmas time, work slows down and companies are less attentive to business opportunities. Emergency contracting. Claiming emergencies allows officials to legally bypass normal procurement rules, making it easier to award contracts to favored companies. Contract timing. Contracts awarded just before or after election can be payback for campaign support and not based on what Jamaicans really need. Collusion. And what if penalties are not enforced when work is poorly done? This could be a contractor and public official working together for private benefit. And if it is, this is collusion. These flags do not prove corruption, but they trigger questions that citizens must ask. So mind your business, Jamaica. Visit the JAMP Procurement Tracker to monitor government contracts. If you spot these flags, use our ATI tool to ask questions and demand accountability.
Peace begins with us. Every act of kindness, every step towards understanding brings us closer to a brighter tomorrow. Let's choose unity, compassion, and hope. Together, we can build a future where peace reigns.
Brighter tomorrow starting today.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic. and the youths united against corruption, changing the world and the way we function. The youths united against corruption, changing the world and the way we function. You remember the youth, them are with future leaders, policy creators, decision makers. As if them are not just the cornerstone, but a crucial part to a better tomorrow. United against corruption, changing the world and the way we function. The youths united against corruption.
A message from the Integrity Commission.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica is changing right before our very eyes. Across the island, billions are being invested into our road networks, from farm and community roads to major roads and highways. Dozens of communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica are receiving access to reliable potable water for the very first time. And thousands of Jamaicans have become homeowners thanks to the historic shifts in policies of the National Housing Trust, making it easier for Jamaicans to receive funding. Not to mention the record number of houses being built. Never dreamed you would own a home? No matter your circumstance, home ownership is possible for you, thanks to the government's new social housing program specially designed to meet the needs of poor Jamaicans at no cost to them. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
How do bills become law in Jamaica? Laws are made to create order, to ensure our safety, and to protect our rights against abuses by other citizens, organizations, and even the government itself. A bill is a proposal for either a new law or for a change to an existing law. Jamaica's parliament is responsible for making our laws, and that responsibility is shared between two houses. There are 21 parliamentarians appointed from both political parties to the upper house, also known as the Senate. And there are 63 members of parliament that we, the people, elect to the lower house, also known as the House of Representatives. To pass a law, there is a minimum of 6 stages required in each house. The process can begin in the upper house by a senator or in the lower house by your member of parliament. And their proposals for a new bill can certainly start with you, the citizen. Now, since the process often begins in the House of Representatives, let's start there. 1. The first stage begins with the introduction by the minister responsible for the bill, followed by the first reading of the bill by the clerk to the houses. This clerk is more like the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer for the Parliament. An announcement of the bill is published in the Gazette. This is a public newsletter that the government uses to inform the citizens of what the Parliament is doing on your behalf. 2. The second reading begins with a summary of the bill by the minister. The main reasons for the bill are discussed both by the government and opposition members to determine if Jamaicans would really be better off with the new law or changes to an existing law. A vote is taken by the House to determine if the bill will move to the committee stage. Sometimes before going to that stage, the minister responsible for the bill can recommend the use of a joint select committee. It's called joint as its members are taken from both the upper and lower house. To benefit from greater consultation, the committee is empowered to invite the public to share their views of the bill in writing or in person, and does so through radio, TV, and newspaper adverts. This Joint Select Committee submits its recommendations to the House of Representatives. The House debates this report, and a vote is taken to determine if the bill should go on to the committee stage, where it is examined by a committee of the whole House. Yes, that's the name. And that's what it is, a committee of all the members of Parliament that carefully examines each clause and makes improvements to ensure the bill will achieve its objectives. As chairman, the Speaker of the House monitors the process to make sure the rules of the House are obeyed and the process moves along smoothly. 4. The Committee of the whole House examines the bill clause by clause, then sends its recommendations for changes to the House of Representatives. This is called the report stage. 5. The bill then passes to the third reading to allow a final opportunity for MPs to make changes before it is sent to senators in the upper house. 6 to 10. In the upper house, the senators go through the same steps we just described. If any changes are made, the bill has to be returned to the House of Representatives for their discussion and approval. Now, if the bill had started in the upper house, it would also have to be returned to them for approval of any changes made by the lower house. 11. Throughout the entire process, the bill is being checked by the Legislative Council. That's the Parliament's lawyer. But before the last step, a copy is sent to the Attorney General of Jamaica for final review and certification. 12. If all is well, the bill is sent to receive the royal assent from the Governor General as the representative of the Queen, Elizabeth II. The bill is now an Act of Parliament. The Act is gazetted, and the rights of Jamaicans are further preserved and protected by a new law.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
BGLC, the regulatory body. We regulate, you play without worry. We regulate, you play. BGLC, fair play when you play. For the fun of the game, you know we're there. BGLC, keep it fair for the player. You play the game and we are the rules that keep everything fair so the game play better. The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission. We ensure fairness, integrity and responsible gaming practices. Keep the game fair and fun for everyone. We regulate, you play.
Peace begins with us. Every act of kindness, every step towards understanding brings us closer to a brighter tomorrow. Let's choose unity, compassion, and hope. Together, we can build a future where peace reigns.
Brighter tomorrow starting today.
What is the role of a backbencher in government? I'm glad you asked. They're members of parliament who are not appointed to cabinet. So they sit in the back of the legislature and they apply pressure. They examine what government legislates, participate in parliament debates, raise issues and advocate and question chamber when things don't look straight. Backbenchers represent the constituents in parliament. Backbenchers oversee the interests of citizens, you and me. But how can they be agents of government accountability after them no hold no portfolio? And them and a minister? No. So then how can they facilitate government transparency? And the next thing, them and a front bencher. So how them affect me? You see, a lot of work is in committees. So these portfolio-free MPs with less dire responsibilities are more accessible to you and me. So they help with policy, but it helps if we engage them, you see. So they're not just in the back benches, but on the ground, in the trenches. Though in the back of parliament, we're at the front of their cause. So pause. Find your backbencher at jampja.org.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a
in rules and regulations of the Parliament, rules and regulations that stand in your regard. These we ask in your merciful name. Amen.
Thank you, Senator Gill. Are there any apologies for absence? I'll first start by saying the substantive chairman is actually on premises, but he is dealing with an urgent matter before he can make himself available. That is something that is needed for the Senate today. Any other? I have an apology from Senator Professor Floyd Morris. Any other? No other apology. Well, welcome all who are present here. Well, no, there's one other apology, but not from the members, but from, I understand that the legal officer is out today, will not be available today. That's correct? Ms. Jimenez?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Yes, the legal officer is out for approximately 2 weeks. So, in regards to our proceedings, we will just continue where we had ended 82A, because we actually ended on a question pertaining to 82A,
yes.
paragraph 2.
Yes.
Right.
All right, thank you very much. So,
Senator Tavares Finson, Christian Tavares Finson.
It will be absent today.
Will be absent.
Thank you very much. All right, so welcome everyone to this committee meeting, and we'll just get into the meat of the matter. The minutes were circulated, and I will take the membership through the minutes that we have before us, and that is the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on May 8th, 2026. We have page 1. Page 2. And in that we were dealing with the standing order 82A. That covered the use of technology. And page 3. Which continues dealing with 82A and the regulation 82A2 in particular, with regards to the use of devices on page 4. Page 4. And page 4 concludes with us where we had a continuing discussion on 82A2 of the standing orders. We're trying to look on whether there was to be any amendment to get some consistency with 82A1. And that is where we had concluded on the last occasion. Can I get a confirmation of the minutes, please? Or is there any amendments? Senator Bernard? Senator Bernard?
So move to confirm the minutes, Mr. Chair.
Seconded. Senator Gavan Gale? All in favor? Any matters arising from the minutes? The outline that is where we had reached, and we will continue from there. And we have Ms. Stewart, who was looking on and participating in the discussion on 82A2. Had a off-mic discussion, off-the-record discussion with you, Ms. Stewart, and you probably can take it up from there. I think we had gotten there actually on the minutes, but some clarity was given to you off record, but so you can take it from there.
All right, thank you, Chair. Thank you again, members. All right, so as reflected on pages 3 and 4 rather of the minutes, discussions commence in regards to 82A paragraph 2, and the issue was whether the term devices could be deleted and substituted with electronic devices and other devices. Now, I have reviewed the construction of other legislative instruments that have similar provisions. Now, from a legislative drafting perspective and a regulatory perspective, the substitution of the term devices with electronic devices and other devices would not be necessary. Why? Once a term has been fully defined or listed in a preceding paragraph, in this instance it would be paragraph 1, subsequent references often use a shortened form to maintain brevity while relying on the explicit cross-reference. And the cross-reference in paragraph 2 is referred to in paragraph 1. So that maintains the scope, the full scope of the original definition that is outlined in paragraph 1. So the current phrasing in paragraph 2, devices referred to in paragraph 1, function as a referential clause. And this automatically inherits the complete list established in paragraph 1, which is electronic devices include laptops, tablets, mobile phones, and other devices serving similar functions. So it is just a drafting style and a drafting technique that is used in paragraph 2, and it is substantiated by the cross-reference provision referred to in paragraph 1. So it doesn't need to be amended.
Okay. All right, and I think that sounds quite reasonable to me. Members, you have heard the explanation given by Ms. Stewart. Any comments on that? Senator Bernard?
Not in relation to the device, but we had started a conversation.
All right, but before we get to the other, no, turn on back your mic. So, in respect to what was explained by Ms. Stewart, you are satisfied that we don't need to make any adjustment to that?
Yes.
Okay. So you can know, so we are all on the same page with that and in agreement that there needs not be any amendment as we had ended up the discussion on the last occasion as to whether there should or should not be. So that is settled. Go ahead, Senator Bernard.
Right. So in relation to same paragraph 2, I think the concern I raised, and it's in the minutes, where the chairman then suggested that we should leave 2. I was making a point that this is hard to police. This is point 2 about it's not permitted for external communication, and I gave an example in one of our sittings where points were raised from the opposition side, and you'd consult to get clarity, real-time data. And I'm thinking that in a time when we oftentimes depend on real-time data, I'm not sure if this one still holds. That was my point, that to say it's not permitted to communicate external, how would you police that? Because it's done all the time. I think in the minutes that we had started the conversation, and the chairman, it's here in bold on page 3, suggested that it might be necessary to leave it as is or revisit it. I mean, but my thinking on this is, we all want to be, having the data that we want to enhance the conversations in the Senate. And it might mean, for example, that a point is raised or something is mentioned from one side of the aisle, and the other side might need to consult with certain data sources in real time to advance or enhance the conversation. So I'm not sure if given where we are now with this technology, I'm saying that, we can't police it, that's for sure. How will you know that I'm not engaging differently? How will you know? It's something that I just think that we should look at it and have a conversation. if this is really a paragraph that we need in this time.
Senator Gill.
Chairman, let's examine something, because two can have two different interpretations in use. One, as Senator Bernard indicated, you could very well, in the midst of the proceedings, whether under in committee or in the Senate, be sending a WhatsApp message, that's external use. Be sending an email, that's external use. So that's one standpoint. The other standpoint is that I'm in a committee proceeding, and I take up my device, which is the mobile device, and I start to make a telephone call. That can very well disturb the sittings. And so there are two different uses of the mobile device that could be referenced in Clause 2. Maybe when the original one was inserted, it had a particular purpose, but then the use of devices have evolved. Yeah? So it's a question of how, to what extent do we seek to clarify or bring clarity to this particular section?
All right. I have listened. I'm going to make a suggestion. Ms. Stewart, follow me on this now. Because I understand what has been said by Senator Bernard as well as Senator Gill. So if we were to make this, I'm going to make a recommendation and open the floor for discussion on it. So I would read, the use of devices referred to in paragraph 1 of this order is not permitted for an external, possibly may be excluded, but I'll read it into it with the possibility of it being excluded when you hear the rest of it. So I'll go again. The use of devices referred to in paragraph 1 of this order is not permitted for external communication with other persons in a manner which may disturb the proceedings of the Senate or committee. So I think that is the qualification. So I'm just putting that out for the discussion and debate. But Senator Bernard first, and then Senator, your mic came on first, and then Senator Gill.
So the concern I hear coming from Senator Gill has to do with the quorum, and I think that is captured in 5.
In 5?
Right, it's captured in 5. If I'm not, we can look at 5. So, but I was not.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was not speaking to the quorum. I was speaking to the, and this is just a term, I don't know if it's a correct term, the legitimate use of a device to get real-time information to add to the quality of the debate in the House. That's what I was getting to.
Yep.
Let me
Sorry,
give you...
before you go, Ms. Stewart, Senator Gill first, and then you... Yeah.
When I look at 5, devices referred to in this order should at all times be turned on silent mode, understandable, and should not at any time be used in a manner which disrupts the proceedings of the Senate or any committee. But this is permitting it to use it, because it says should not at any time be used in a manner which disrupts the proceedings.
Yes.
So this is not prohibiting it from being used. This is allowing it to use, but you can't disturb. Now, how you determine the extent of disturbance? Because you could very well be beside me and you disturb me. So what you have advanced in 2 brings further clarity in that it is specific for the use of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah? But then when we get to 5 now, we're going to have to qualify 5. Mm-hmm.
What 5 is actually saying is that we need to amend 2 to be consistent with 5. That's what I'm getting from 5, you know. Yes, I'm agreeing with Senator. Again, for me, it's not the decorum, because I've never seen, and I can hardly believe that a senator or a member of parliament will be talking on them phone or trying to disrupt.
Well, probably if the rule was not there, they would.
I'm not hearing it, sir.
Probably the rule was not there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm saying the rule is there to facilitate the decorum, and I'm not seeing the decorum, and I've never seen the decorum be interrupted with a cell phone. The only point I'm making here, and again, it is just in a time like this, when we need data to again enhance the quality of debates, I see two as, again, it's hard to police, that's for one, but I can't, it's just not striking me as necessary, to have a clause that says it's not permitted for external use. Maybe that needs to be qualified or put a caveat to say what the external use should be, but again, it's still difficult to police.
Sorry, okay, so thank you, members. So, Ms. Stewart?
So just to get some clarity, let me give you an example. On Tuesday, the last sitting of the House, I needed case law in order to assist the Speaker with making a decision on Rule 35.2 of the Standing Orders, which touch and concern the issue of sub judice. No, a proper decision could not be made without getting the necessary data, as you have outlined, in terms of recent case law within the Court of Appeal. So I understand the direction you're going. So maybe 2 does not touch on concern decorum, because that is encapsulated in paragraph 5. But 2, maybe you could have an unless clause after or in committee unless required to acquire data for the purposes of debate, presentations. Maybe that's along the line you're going?
I mean, I'm happy that we can have a middle ground, but really the line I'm going is that we don't need this one. That's where I am, but I'm willing to see that as a middle ground.
Okay. All right. Good morning, Senator Scott Motley. Happy to see you. You want to turn on your mic that everybody can hear that?
I think it's an open secret. It's always a pleasure to see you, Chair.
The S's, right?
Further quality enhanced to the statement.
All right. Okay. So, Senator Bernard, who has raised that particular issue, seems as if he's prepared to accept middle ground type as expressed by Ms. Stewart. You're commenting, Senator Gale?
Just to remind us that there was a time before the insertion of 82A, none of these devices could have been used. And so we moved to a point where the Parliament would have allowed the use of these devices for specific purposes. You're right. It is going to be difficult to monitor, to police the use of these devices. So maybe you could repeat your insertion for just further clarity. And since Senator Scott Motley just joined us for her own appreciation.
Go ahead, Ms. Stewart.
Right, so I was thinking at the end where it says proceedings of the Senate or in committee, you could add a clause that says unless required for the purposes of acquisition of data to facilitate, I don't want to say research or to enhance presentation or debate. I'll have to coin it properly, but that's along the line which you would have an exemption, because you cannot police external communication, but it has to be for a particular purpose. So that unless clause would be there for qualification as to how you would apply external communication for uses in the Senate or in committee. So that would be along the line. So I'd have to redraft that provision there to add. So you can indicate if you agree with that exemption clause that would be added. That's the direction. Okay. So what was initially suggested by the President in a manner which may disturb the proceedings of the Senate, you would eliminate that because that is already captured in paragraph 5. Okay. So I will redraft paragraph 2 to include that unless clause commencing from or in the committee and present it.
All right. Senator, you see, with all the nice words that were expressed to me by Senator Scott Motley, I'm going to call on her suddenly.
The particular one that we're looking at is the use of devices for external communication.
A1,
yes.
A2.
I've heard the recommendation, which is the unless, and it seems to me to be a reasonable recommendation, Chair.
All right,
in the
thank you.
circumstances.
A question was raised, which I'm going to also put forward. This use that reference is being made to is applicable to senators or all persons within the precincts of the Senate.
You mean within the chamber?
Within the chamber.
It sounds to me, just from looking at it, that it means that all persons within the chamber.
Within the chamber. All right. So, Senator Bernard, get your mic on.
So thank you very much, Chair. That was going to be, again, a question I would ask, but you would have presented a response. Just for my own understanding. So let us say that this is breached. The device is utilized in the Senate. Let me talk about us now.
Just raise your mic.
Right. I just want to know if it's breached. So let us say a device is utilized within the proceedings by us. I'm not speaking to the broader chamber now in terms of those who are in the gallery. What would be the penalty?
There are some rules that may not have consequential penalties, but just are there to prohibit behavior. So if you are worried about you utilizing the device and you were caught, because I take note of the fact that you wonder what is going to happen, it might not be a consequential penalty, but just to prohibit the use, and it's more behavioral in nature. That's how I look at it.
What I am worried about. I am worried about a ruling that prevents me from completing a presentation because I was using a device and it was deemed to be outside of the rule, and then that ruling is not applied consistently. That is what I'm worried about. You get what I'm saying, Chair?
Yeah, and I hear you, but if a person, if there is no detection of it, because you don't know when it is, right? So, but once a ruling has been made, and there is another detection, I can't see where a president who would be operating in a manner which is expected to be.
Not seen where it has been applied inconsistently before, other breaches of the standing order?
No. I've not seen it. It may be a perception that one has, but I've not seen it. And the mere fact that persons speak about it or say it doesn't mean that that is actually happening.
And I think that is where paragraph 6 of 82A would come in. It states the use of laptops and other forms of technology as audio-visual aids to support parliamentary presentations may only be undertaken at the discretion of the President or Chairman in committee, and members who wish to make use of such aids must seek the prior approval of the President or Chairman in committee. So if that should happen, then you could maybe ask for a suspension of the standing orders to invoke 82A6. So there's some protection mechanism embedded in paragraph 6, if that would assist you. Or do you want something explicit, a new subparagraph, to deal with your specific issue?
Chair, Senator Bernard's concern is that here is a particular section, a rule, that may prohibit him using his device during a presentation. And, you know, there's a particular colleague, senator, that his surname is of a color, that from time to time he would refer to a message sent to him through his device, and he would read it into the Hansard. President or chairman might allow it or disallow it. But it has happened. And that is where 6 now, I don't believe he would have sought the approval of the president in this case. He may have gone ahead. And it's the president to make a determination whether or not he's going to allow it. And I've seen where it has been disallowed.
Yes.
In accordance with the rule. No, I was referring to 6.
All right, well, you said 4, well, we get there. We get there, right? But I think that, sorry, Senator Scott Martin.
No, go.
No, I think that we have gone through it extensively, and the recommendation that has been made by Ms. Stewart in respect to the qualification is something that sits well with me, seems to sit well with Senator Bernard, who had raised the issue. The application of the rule, I believe that once a person is sitting in the chair, that, well, at least from what I've seen so far since I've been in this chamber, that there has been an objective approach, fairness to it. It's not everything that one may rule on that you may agree, right? Because one may believe that they can go down a particular road that suits their agenda at a particular moment in time, but I have not seen where there is a rule that has been applied to one person and then in respect to another has not been applied. I'm not seeing that. Right? So we'll have the redraft from you, Ms. Stewart.
It's a bit further. That's a clause that I will insert that would be subject to the discretion. So I would use some of the same language that is encapsulated in paragraph 6 that says undertaken at the discretion of the president or the chairman in committee. So you could use it, right, unless for the purposes of research, to enhance your presentation, but there would have to be some form of discretion applied, if you agree. But I will redraft it and present it.
All right, thank you. So we will await that redraft, and we move right into 82A3. And 82A3 reads, where committee meetings are not held in public, no public communication may be made, and no material made available therein may be released at any time or by any means without the express approval of the committee, and any breach of these provisions shall be considered to be a matter which appears to affect the powers and privilege of the Senate, and shall be referred to the Committee of Privileges for its consideration. That seems quite straightforward. All right, so 82A4, members making speeches in the course of debate or other presentations in the Senate or in committee may utilize devices referred to in this order or in place of or in addition to speaking notes, provided that if a presentation contains a statement of fact, the member asking it shall make himself responsible for the accuracy of the statement, and no statement shall be based upon a newspaper report or upon an unofficial publication.
Always found that standing order to be highly problematic.
And highly breached.
well, it has to be breached because where do you have to rely on a source for your information.
Yes.
And it become, if you see a publication in a newspaper, and it asserts that this is factual, you can't be speaking in the Senate and they say, no, you can't cite it. Because where are you what is supposed to be the source of your information, if not a media report, which does not say it is alleged that? I've never been comfortable with how this has been framed.
You know, but I think that it has some value. It has some value. And I've seen it where, you know, well, not here, but I've seen it in other places. I believe that persons who sit here exhibit a greater level of responsibility.
Yes,
but I've seen it in other places.
But it doesn't make sense.
I will tell you that I will tell you in what way I believe it makes some amount of sense. So an incident would have taken place. An incident took place somewhere across Jamaica.
Well, let us use Bujo as an example. we don't have to skirt around it.
An incident took place somewhere. And you're using a platform such as the Senate or any other place. And when it comes, sorry. Yes. Oh, you're not hearing. Yes, and I think the mic sound a little low. Regardless. I see. Oh. Well, when they were testing it earlier, and I was in here, it sounded much louder than what I'm hearing from it now. But when you say it in a particular place, Senator Scott Matley, what I'm saying is that I think you raise the acceptability of it to persons who are out in the public. And it may be very misleading. And that's why I believe that you have that the provision that says that the member shall be responsible for the accuracy of the statement, right? But to say that no statement shall be based upon a newspaper report or upon an unofficial publication.
How do you not base it on a newspaper report?
And
how does a newspaper report come in there? I can understand if you say an unofficial publication, because it could be something on social media, it could be, you know. But how can you not use a newspaper as a source of what you're saying? What this standing order actually does, it says you cannot rely on a newspaper report. And if it is, say that it is something that, a report about IDB, you mean that I can't refer to it? But let me say too, if a presentation contains a statement of fact, the member asking it, how does the asking come into it? Because if I'm making a presentation, I'm making a speech in the Senate or in committee, and I'm asserting a statement of fact. I'm not asking anything about it because I'm asserting it is a statement of fact. So the entire clause has always been problematic to me.
It needs some rewording.
From several different angles.
It needs rewording. And I believe that I would want to accept what you're saying, to say that if the standing order also places a responsibility on the member himself. So if he's going to adopt it and use it in his presentation, that he's responsible for the accuracy of it. I believe that provision places a high responsibility on the member not to use information which really has no basis, right?
The way that it is worded, I find it problematic.
Okay.
Because I don't think that it achieves what I think is a desired objective, which is not to come in here and quote things frivolously. That you must be responsible in how you frame your presentation. And that's why I said, we have an actual example. What about the incident which involved Buju would be permissible? You understand?
All right.
Would we, if we go into allegations outside of the actual reported and confirmed facts, then I think that would be problematic. But you can't say that I can't refer to confirmed facts and that I have to be responsible for the accuracy of confirmed facts. I just think respectfully, Chair, that...
No, where is it that it says about confirmed?
No, it says, provided that if a presentation contains a statement of fact,
yes,
the member asking it, which I don't understand the ask, as I said, shall make himself responsible for the accuracy of the statement. I'm not finished.
Yeah.
And no statement shall be based upon a newspaper report.
Yes.
Let me put the full stop there.
Yes. So you are making a presentation, and in your presentation it is coming out as a statement of fact. You are stating it as if it were a fact. And you have to be responsible for it.
No,
but then I don't know how the responsibility goes, because guess what? Within this chamber and in the other place, you are protected.
Yeah, but I think we have to look at the real mischief that we are trying to deal with and how this is framed.
Yeah.
Because I know what the mischief is, but I don't accept that the way that is framed here captures that.
All right. Think about a redraft and let us hear it.
I know you always do that to me,
Senator, because Senator Bernard.
4. That second piece, that doesn't have a thing to do with technology. What is it doing there? This could be attached to almost any other clause in the standard. Look at it. Just read that piece alone. It doesn't have anything at all to do with technology. Absolutely nothing. What is it doing there in the first place? You let them tack it on. Look at it. Look at it, Mr. Chair.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
Well, I think that is the lesser of the evils for us.
Well,
it probably may create a difficulty in trying to find it at some other point in time if you're using the subheadings to find it.
This could be an addendum to almost anything in it.
Yeah. But now that we have gone through it and you have gone through it, you'll know where to find it when you're looking for it. Ms. Stewart? You understand? So, Ms. Stewart, I want to concur with Senator Scott Motley in respect to the use of the word asking. But what I'd also ask you to do and your team is that in looking, see if you find something that is how the other jurisdictions deal with this particular issue, right? And good day, Madam Cooper, Bennett Cooper. It's Bennett Cooper, right? Rose Bennett Cooper. Pleasure. They're sitting in the big seat. All right? So, I think that is where we are. It's 9:59. And some homework to do. So, Senator Scott Motley, you will look on a redraft, and Miss Stewart will also be doing that with her team. So at this point in time, I will ask for a motion for adjournment of this Standing Orders Committee meeting. Senator Rose Bennett Cooper, seconded by Marlon Morgan, and this Standing Orders Committee of the Senate for Friday, May 22nd, 2026 is now adjourned for a date to be fixed. Thank you very much.
Understand export pathways and unlock financial growth.
Say hello to a prosperous future. Visit tradeboard.gov.jm/export Jamaica to sign up today. Expanding Jamaica's reach, empowering our people.